Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be learning with you again this week. So we have a new theme, as you can see in this picture, and it is farm animals. So last week we learned about the plants that grow on farms, and this week we're going to learn about farms that have animals on them. And so there's usually two different types of farms, and actually there's even more than that. There's a lot of different types of farms that have different animals and plants on them. So we're going to learn about the ones that have animals this week. So our question of the week is, why do we need farm animals? So last week we learned that the plants from the farms go to farmers markets and grocery stores, and people can buy them for food. So this week we're going to learn about why we need the farm animals. All right, so let's get started with our attendance first today. So we have a barn on our screen and it says, who is here? So we're going to see what animals, which of our friends show up to our barn today. Okay, so be listening for your name. Are you ready? All right, we have Emmy, and Emmy's a little chicken. We have Jackson, Kendall, Ziana, Sarah. Look at all those little chickens. Oh, Kenley's a little piggy. We have Jameek, Liam, Hannah. Carter is a cow. So's Brian. And we have Garrett, Davin, Melanie, Mark, Luca, Brian, Cheyenne, Michael, Sebastian, Roland, and Hunter. So all of our friends are here with us at the barn. All right, let's go ahead and do our calendar for today. So our month is May. Can you say that? May. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do our days of the week to find out what today is. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All right, so our piggy is on the 17th, so we have to count to see what today is. Are you ready to count? Help me out. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If you said 18, you would be right. So we're going to move the pig over to the 18, which is today. And if we look up, the day of our week starts with an M, and we know M says So what day must it be? Which day of the week starts like Let's find out. Sunday, Monday. If you said Monday, you would be right. So today is Monday, May 18th. We're almost through the month of May. We're over halfway done. It went by really fast. All right, let's move on. So we have a little chart here, and it says what we know about farms. And the first question says, what is on a farm? And the second question says, what lives on a farm? So we're going to be answering these two questions after we read our story. But we do know from last week 2 things that are on a farm. And what were those 2 things that grow on a farm that we talked about? If you said fruits, you would be right. Or if you said vegetables, you would be right. So we're going to read a story next and see what else we can fill in our chart with, okay? So I'm going to take my screen away like this. There we go. And I have a story for you called Farm Animals. And what is this animal here on the front? What is that little animal? It is a baby cow. And does anybody know what a baby cow is called? It's called a calf. That's a baby cow. So we're going to see what farm animals are in this story, and I want you to be listening and paying attention so we can use them to fill out our chart. Okay, so make sure you're listening to what farm animals are in the story and what other things are on the farm. Okay, now our author is Joanne Mattern, and there's no illustrator because these pictures were taken with a camera. They're not drawn. Someone actually went to a farm and took pictures of the animals and the things on the farm. All right, so let's find out. Let's see. What's a farm? A farm is a place where people produce things or make things. Some of the things are sold. Some are used there on the farm. There are many kinds of farms. Some kinds, like dairy farms, have animals. On other types of farms, fruits and vegetables are grown, and we know that from last week. So this says a farmer has cows on a dairy farm. Now, if you don't know what a dairy farm is, you could look at this glass right here. What do you think that's a glass of? If you said milk, you would be right. And this farmer here is milking his cow. So it says that twice a day the farmer milks the cow, then the farmer can sell the milk. So a dairy farm has cows on it, and they use the cows for their milk. And we're going to talk about one day this week, we have a whole circle time about cows and dairy farms. On poultry farms, these chickens are used for their eggs. So these hens lay the eggs, and then the farmers come and collect the eggs and sell them. On a sheep farm, the sheep grow a thick wool coat in the winter, so thick wool fur in the wintertime, and then in the spring, the farmer shaves the sheep. And so that's just like getting your hair cut. And they get all shaved off for the spring to make them feel cooler. And the farmer sells the wool to people who make clothes. So people use wool to make clothes. Not all farmers raise animals. Some farmers grow crops. That's what we learned about last week. They grow crops which are large fields of fruits and vegetables. Family farms usually have a variety of animals and crops. So that means they have many different things. These family-owned farms have sheep, chickens, pigs, horses, and cows all on one farm. They sell many things at the farmer's market. And that's just some pictures of the things we just learned about. A day on the farm. On a family farm, the sun slowly rises early in the morning and the rooster crows. Cock-a-doodle-doo! And the cows stand next to the gate. Soon the farmer will lead them into a field. So there's lots of fields on farms with animals because they have to have places to walk and run around. The farmer opens the gate and the cows go through. The chickens begin to roam around the yard. They like to eat things like worms and grain, which is their food, the little seed. Now the pigs stay in the shade in their pen, and they like to roll around in the mud because it cools them down. In a pasture, which is a big grassy area for animals to run around, a sheep looks up and runs because a black and white dog runs over the hill. The dog is a border collie, which is a type of dog, and its job is to keep all the sheep together so they don't run off. They have to all stay herded together. The sun begins to set and the animals move again. The horses in the field change direction and trot or run together toward the stable. And there's the stable where they go for the night and have their food. It's getting dark, so the chickens go to their coop, which is where they live. It's nighttime on the farm. The cows and sheep snuggle down for the night in the barn to keep warm. So there's the barn where the cow and the sheep live, the pen where the pigs live, the coop where the chickens live, and the stable where the horses live. So those are the different buildings on the farm. There are also machines on the farm, like this big, what is that? It's a tractor, and it's used to do work around the farm. This is a plow, and it gets the field ready for planting. This is a grain drill. It pokes holes in the soil and puts seeds in. So these are all doing work for the farmer. This is a combine, and it cuts the wheat in the field. But if you don't have big equipment and big machines, you might have something small like this where cows or horses pull it for you. Some of the stronger animals. These are some ox that are pulling that. So these are all the different machines that you might see on a farm. The end. All right, so I want to go back, and I hope you remembered some of these different animals so we can share them for our chart. Okay, so it says what we know about farms. So we already knew what is on a farm, fruits and vegetables. So think of something else that we talked about that's on a farm. So they were all a bunch of different what live on a farm. If you said animals, you would be right. And then there were some other things on the farm, like the places where the animals stayed or slept. What were those things called? Like the barn and the stable. They are all buildings. So there are also buildings on the farm. And what was the last thing we talked about that do all the work on the farm? They are the machines, like the tractor. So there's lots of different things on the farm. There's also lots of tools on the farm and the farmers on the farm and other things. But this is what our story talked about was on the farm. So our next question is, what lives on a farm? So which animals live on a farm? Can you think of one animal that was in the story that lives on a farm? Think of an animal that was in the story that lives on the farm. If you need to close your eyes to think, you can. All right, 3, 2, 1, lock it in for me. Awesome. I hope you remembered that from our classroom. All right, ready? If you said horse, you would be right. That was one of the animals. If you said cow, you would be right. If you said sheep, that was one of the animals too. You would be right. Or pig, that was one of the animals in the story. Or chicken, that was also one of the animals. So there's one more animal that I didn't put on here. Can you figure out what animal that is that I didn't put on? I'm trying to trick you and see if you can figure it out. If you said the dog, you would be right. See that dog? It's the sheepdog that keeps all the sheep herded together in one big group. So that was the other animal. So cats and dogs live on farms too. All right, so we're going to move on to our next activity, and we're going to measure those farm animals. So just like in class when we've measured using cubes where we stack the cubes on top of each other to see how tall something is, or we've used gingerbread men to measure how tall we are, how many gingerbread tall are you, or when we use the rulers that had the numbers on them, or the hearts, the ruler that had the hearts, where you could see how many hearts things were. So you could do this with Legos, you could do it with blocks, cubes, stones, stuffed animals, anything you want to measure with that you have at home. And we have these little blocks here that we're going to measure with, and they're all the same size so that they're the right measurement for each one. Okay, so we have to figure out how many blocks long each animal is. So we're going to start with the horse. So let's count how many blocks long the horse is. Ready? Help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's how many blocks long? 6 blocks long. Do you think you can do that with your finger? Start at the top, go around and in to make a 6. All right, let's see if we can count the sheep. Let's count how many blocks long the sheep is. 1, 2, 3. All right, can you make a 3? Remember, around the tree, around the tree. That's the way to make a 3. So you can draw it in the air with your finger. Thank you for doing that. All right, let's do the pig next. How many blocks long is a pig? Ready? 1, 2. All right, you can draw this one too. Ready? Draw it with me. Around and down and back. So that's the number 2. All right, let's see about the chicken down here. How many blocks long is the chicken? It's 1. Can you draw 1 straight down like that with your finger? 1. Thank you. All right, our last animal is the cow. And I bet you can look at those blocks and see how many it is, but we'll count them. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. So the cow is how many blocks long? 4 blocks long. So we put a line down and a little line across. So you can draw 4 in the air. Big line down, little line across. Awesome. So which one is the longest or the biggest animal? Which one is the longest out of all of these? If you said horse, you would be right. And how do we know that? Because it's how many blocks long? 6. And 6 is the biggest number. 6 is bigger than 3. Is 6 bigger than 1? Yes, it is. So it's definitely bigger than the chicken. So the horse is the biggest animal on this page. All right, so how about which one is the smallest or the least amount of blocks long? If you said the chicken, you would be right. The chicken is the smallest animal, the shortest animal, and has the least amount of blocks because it's only 1 block long. And is 1 smaller than all the other numbers? Is it smaller than 3 and smaller than 2 and smaller than 4 and 6? Yes, it is. So it is the smallest animal. All right, we're going to move on. And you can measure anything, like I said, at your house too, using different things around your house. Just make sure you use the same of it. So if you're using rocks, use all rocks to measure. Or if you're using, you can use paper clips and measure with only paper clips. And then you can switch to something else and see how long it is. All right. So these are our farm animal words of the week. All right, so we have a lot this time, but we're going to talk about the beginning sounds of each one. So this word is farm, and it starts with letter F. So F, let me get my little pen out here. So I'll underline the F. There's the F, and F says F. So say farm. Thanks you. Okay, now these are who is in charge of the farm? The farmers. Can you say farmers? Awesome. And what is this building down here? It's the barn. And what does barn start with? What letter? B. Can you say barn? Awesome. All right, this is tractor. You say it. Good. This is pig. You say it. Good. And what does pig start with? Pig. Starts with the letter P, and it says P. All right, our next one is cow. Can you say cow? Good. And it starts with letter C, and C says k, like as in cow. Now, this animal was not in our story, but it does live on some farms, and it's a goat. Can you say goat? Good. All right, and it starts with letter G, and G says g, like goat and gorilla. All right, this is horse. Can you say horse? Awesome. And it starts with letter H, and H says Good. All right, this is chicken. Can you say chicken? Awesome. Now, this word starts with a C, and when we see the C in cow, we say k, but we don't say kickin'. So when you put the C and the H together, it makes a ch sound for chicken. We haven't learned about that yet, and you'll learn lots more about that in kindergarten. But sometimes when you put two letters together, it makes a different sound. All right, so this word is eggs. You say it. And we've had this word before, and it starts with letter E, and E says eh, eh. Awesome, and our last one is sheep. You say it. Good, and this one starts with an S, but we don't say seep, and that's because the S and the H make the sound sh. So that's why we say sheep. So just like chicken, it has a different type of sound that you'll learn about. All right, so those are our words for the week, and you can keep practicing them at home. You can practice writing some of them down, maybe a couple a day. That would be fun because there are a lot of them this week. All right, so the next one says, it's time for our alphabet song. So